Same day.
Going to do an audio check here. All right, everybody online, can you hear me? Okay, there's 1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes. Yes.
And, hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Now everybody but me is muted. Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do this without the microphone. Can everybody still hear me? 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Should be able to. Okay, good. All right, so no, it won't do anything. You don't have control. I have no control. That is correct. All right, everybody. We're just gathering troops, so I'm going to put this back on mute for a minute. Oh, the picture? Yeah.
I'll text that. God, looking at you on that computer, that was scary.
It's coming back. Hold on.
I'm like, oh my God. One exciting day. All right.
You guys gonna stay there?
I just go slow.
Okay, see you guys. Okay.
Oh, is that because it's on your computer?
There we go. All right, welcome everyone that is coming in late, probably. Exactly. Jesus. Okay, is there a doctor in the house? Has anyone not been to a CFI meeting in like the last, I don't know, year? Okay, all right. If you are an instructor and you want to get credit for this meeting, this link is the same link that was at the last meeting and the meeting before that and the meeting before that and every other meeting, or bookmark it like I've been saying for a long, long time. So if you bookmark it and you have it on your phone, and at the very end, all you have to do is put your information in and hit submit. All right. These, never had a problem with that, Jim. So these, the code is good for roughly 12 hours. So do it tonight. Do it before you leave if you can. And at 9 o'clock at night, the job basically fires that everybody that has signed in will get an email confirming that you've attended. Okay? So don't email me at 8 o'clock or text me at 7:30 right after the meeting and say, hey, I didn't get a confirmation. It comes at 9 o'clock. If you don't put the code in before that, then it will fire tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Okay. Yes. Good. Good. We'll find out soon enough. Anyway, so that will go in, that will automatically update your records, and that'll be that. The biggest issues that we've had, I've had not very many of them, but a few people start complaining to me that they did not get credit for the meeting or whatever. One of two things. One, you put the wrong email address in or a second email address, or two, you put the wrong email address in.
Blame it on us.
Yes.
It's not your fault.
It is absolutely not, because I've proven it many, 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 many times, Rich.
You can fix it.
I cannot fix you putting your email address in incorrectly.
You can still give us credit for me.
That's what this is for. That's what you're up to. If you don't have the ability to do that, Rich, and you want to put it on me, then I'm not going to give you credit. We can go around. That's the way it is. So moving on.
No accountability.
Goes both ways. All right. So this is here's the agenda here. All right. So this is all the stuff mainly. So there's a lot of changes that have been going on, and there's been some confusion. So Dave and I are going to tag team here and go through some of these issues and hopefully get everybody up to speed. And then we'll talk about the incidents at the end here. All right. So we have 2 fleet additions and a change. You probably have seen on the, if you've looked at the webpage or heard, there's a lake amphibian that I bought that will start flying in July. So that will hopefully be ready tomorrow. Another 172 Montgomery, that's coming in. Dave, when is that coming in? Tomorrow? Or
Which one?
this week? 2174?
172? Probably not to the end of July. They're doing a bunch of work on it.
Oh, okay. All right. So we don't have to worry about that right now. And then 150 that was at Palomar moved to Montgomery. 244 Tango Whiskey, we'll talk about that at the end. That is totaled. Done. Gone. The training will be done at in the South Bay. Yep. 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 It's taken me 3 years to get this thing online. So all of those things that everybody thinks about with salt water and all that stuff, yeah, thought it through. So those are the 2 airplanes there. All right. Questions on the airplanes. So I know Dave has had this come up, and I'll just answer the question now. For instruction in the lake, so let me rewind for a second. 3 years ago, I tried to get this airplane and airplane like this in the club right after we had the midair. And the insurance company had an offer on the airplane, was getting ready to go out and get it. The insurance company came back and said, nope, no chance in hell you guys are not getting insurance on this lake. So that put the kibosh on that whole thing. 3 years later, we were finally able to convince them to at least allow it in the club. So that's kind of a huge step up. I've got plans, hopefully, if we can prove the track record of this. This is one of those airplanes that you actually want to gear up when you're going in the water. So I know that kind of goes against everything we're going to talk about tonight. But anyway, I've had a lot of requests for instructors that want to teach in it. Right now, it's probably going to be like 2, maybe 3, because the requirements right now are really, really high, 100 hours in that airplane. So, yeah.
Make and model or that airplane?
In make and model, yeah.
How much is it now?
159. So I'm going to continue to push the insurance company. If we can prove that it's safe, which I think it can. I think we can prove that. Then hopefully we'll be able to allow solo sometime, and hopefully maybe I'll get another one. But if you just want to go fly it, I mean, that thing is funner than hell to fly. Yes. Okay, so good question. Bakersfield North, almost every waterway you can land in. Colorado River, you can land there all day long. So the only issue right now is there's any waterways that they don't allow boats, there's no way you'll ever get any permission. The ones that do allow boats right now in Southern California are all closed, but hopefully if I can start talking to the right people, maybe we'll fix some of that. Because they've landed seaplanes in Lake Elsinore. It was for firefighting and stuff, but I mean, it is possible. So.
And there are some shallow areas of the Colorado River.
Yeah, you basically need 1 foot. In this airplane, you need about a foot.
Is that it?
That's it.
Wow. I couldn't go on a jet ski once on the Colorado River. The water's too shallow.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on. I mean, the Colorado River is obviously big, but I've landed up and down that thing many times, and yeah, for the most part, it's great. Super fun. You drop the gear when you're in the water and taxi up onto the boat ramp and impress your friends and family. Okay. So this is the stuff that, if you've been in a closet for the last several months, you probably don't know that we're going paperless, have gone paperless. We're paperless. We're going to go through a few of these things. This is stuff that will affect your clients as well as you guys. So I know we have some members in here. So this is going to affect everybody on how you actually upload this stuff. Very soon, the staff will stop taking paper, anything, and it'll all go through here. I know we've had a few problems, but not really all that many, not as many as you might think. So just, and if you guys have any comments or changes that you want to make to any of this stuff, just shoot me an email. Greg Beatty, I don't think he's here, but he sent me a bunch of stuff to change on like the aircraft checkout form. Happy to change it. If it makes sense, no problem. It doesn't take that long. So if you have comments on stuff that actually might make a difference, then send it to me and we'll make those changes. Not that big a deal. The website, without being logged in now, you'll see the members section and you'll see all these menu items. You do have to log in to access this stuff. I will say that for the most part, all of the login issues have been fixed or are fixed within a few hours. Webmaster +1flyers.org. She'll fix all that stuff. if you guys have a, I think someone's. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so if you're not able to log in, if you haven't tried, I suggest you try. If you have a problem with your login, email webmaster. Good question. Yes and no. The old one. So if you've been a member for a while, then it probably is. The problem about 3 months ago, Schedule Master just all of a sudden decided to change how they do everything with their logins. And now it's going to be separated for the time being. So try it with your +1 login. There's a section on there where you can request a reset and password reset or username, but your username should be the same as Schedule Master. Nothing we can do about the Schedule Master integration now. They've changed everything. So there we go. Okay, so for everything that's done in that member section, you got to be logged in. PDF only. For any attachments whatsoever, period, PDF only, that's it. So if you try to submit anything else, most of the time, I think there's still some bugs that we're tracking down, but very few. It will not allow JPEGs. There's a couple times that it has. So let me know, and then we'll go through it.
On behalf of our faculty and staff, I'm pleased to welcome you all to this evening's commencement ceremony.
No matter what.
Honoring San Marcos High School's graduating class of 2018. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the special guests who are joining us to celebrate the outstanding accomplishment of this senior class. Members of San Marcos Unified School District's governing board.
There's your login issues. So that is, this is the login. You got your password, your email address in. And if it doesn't find you, send an email.
Also joining us is the Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Services, Ms. Gina Bishop.
All right, Bob, this is for you.
Assistant Superintendent of Business Services,
so,
Mark Shield.
To convert an image,
Director of
super easy to do this. Everybody know what Dropbox is? Most people know Dropbox.
Director of Secondary Education,
it will scan pictures for you. If you have a Dropbox account, you just press Add, Scan, we'll cover it over the logbook entry. It'll automatically create a PDF for you. You just have to select
Special Education Coordinator, Ms. Nicole Sistina.
It's automatic. So that's a free app.
And our teacher of the year, Mr. Donovan.
Super, super easy to do. There's 2 other apps that I put on there. This is iOS, Android. I'll show you in a second. This is really good. $5, and that'll store all your stuff. So I like Dropbox just because you store all your endorsements in there.
It wasn't that long ago that each of you began your journey of becoming
so when you do an endorsement, you keep it in your Dropbox and then it uploads it to
your place within Knight's realm.
There's another one in there that I've not tried, the last one. That's so if you want to make a note of that, take a picture of that last one's free.
First to experience the excitement of an 8th grade tour on our new campus. The first group of freshmen to break in the night of the infamous roller coaster, cheering and hollering at a spirited
I'll show you.
And most significantly, the first class.
If you have an Android, same thing. 2 apps there. There's Dropbox again, and this is the name of it. Those are the names. I don't know anything about that one. I don't have an Android, but they say from the description I read that it's free for the most part.
You are nice. Following the footsteps of those who have come before you.
Okay, that's good. All right, fuel receipt uploads. So, Jim, if you are uploading a fuel receipt, just to run through this, these 2 fields will automatically populate. Name and email will automatically populate.
For one another and enduring friendships.
This is what
you are nice.
So these are pre-populated. Put the N number, and then this has to be a valid dollar amount. If it doesn't, you'll get this. You put a dollar amount in there. All right. So far, pretty easy, right? Press this button. Okay. Computer, iPad, iPhone, whatever.
passions and pursuits,
where you want
and
to
developing the character that has made you into the individuals
and then
you are today.
If you have Dropbox
You have
installed,
learned to be part of a community of individuals
and you can
working
look
together
there,
to contribute
wherever
to
you
this school and to this
press
city.
that.
Building upon
You
its
hit
history
submit, it'll
and
say
strengthening
submit
the
in,
legacy that you
and after a second after it uploads, it'll say
at 738 strong, you are the largest class to graduate from
what
San Marcos
Dave and I
High
were
School.
just talking about is we're going to start sending feedback. So whatever is submitted, we'll get an email copy of
Who have uniquely
with the receipt.
contributed to a
So if
collective
you submitted the receipt and it's
of
valid, you're going to
many
get a copy.
You are
Actually have the receipt that you sent.
187
And look at
honor
it and say,
graduates.
okay, yeah, that's the right thing. That doesn't exist right now. It'll probably exist by tomorrow.
The lowest we have ever seen.
Just +1.
Nothing to do with silver as a testimony to your sacrifices and commitment to academic excellence.
Flight review, same thing. So again, same thing for your clients. For you guys, for your clients, same thing.
You are
Populated.
33 members of the California Scholastic Federation
The following
and 106
you
members.
can't change that. Upload the endorsement. Right? Most of the time, you will be doing this for yourself, telling your clients how to do this. Same thing when you upload. Wait.
You are trailblazers and inspirations to your family and friends.
Yes.
With 11 Peace Scholars,
Yes.
8 Simon Scholars, and 78 Palomar Promise Plus Scholars.
You click, well, whoever's doing this, so if you're watching your client do this, they're uploading. We're going to get to the checkout forms in just a second. That's a little bit
College
different.
acceptance
So this
and
is just
financial assistance.
you have an endorsement for them, or they have an endorsement from somebody else, or whatever.
Over
And they click that
$2.5 million
box,
towards higher
and you'll
education.
select that file that you just scanned, and it'll upload. Once you hit submit, it'll upload that.
You are 120
Yeah, they're the ones logging in.
AP scholars.
So yeah,
And
if they're
3
asking you for help,
national AP
then
scholars.
Well, for whoever's logged in, yeah, this is just an example here.
An impressive 17 national merit commended scholars. A merit semifinalist.
Yes, unless it's a checkout, and you'll see that in just a second here. Because if it's an aircraft
And
checkout,
for
then
the
that's
first time in school history, a merit winner, Winston.
90 days before the expiration date.
yeah.
The initial expiration date is being used, so you kind of get like these 90 days.
You are a family of 32 determined avid students.
Yeah, that's
Nearly
an
all
amazing
of
as far
you
as I know. Yeah,
accepted
that's
to a
nothing.
four-year university.
You can do these every other day. Yeah.
You are 19 inaugural state seal by legacy
Oh, okay.
recipients, attaining a high level of.
Yeah, no, that's so. Paul just, I actually haven't tried that. So if you have a picture on your iPhone, there's a little icon that looks like a little folder with an arrow up. Press that. If you scroll over to the right, there's a button that says Save PDF to iBooks. So if you have iBooks, then there you go. It's all integrated. So yeah, super easy. Actually, that works out good. Good tip.
You are our spirited members of ASP,
So,
pioneering
all right, questions on flight reviews. These are all pretty much the same. So
assembling the
they
every
shouldn't be
15 minutes
all that
program,
different.
and
This is what
encouraging all nights
like it looks a
to
little bit
bleed their
different
own
on
blue.
iPhones and Androids. Again, PDF only. So this stuff again is pre-populated. Where this is the medical expiration date for. You can put. There's no validation initially in here. The membership representatives are validating this, so you can put this 10 years down the road, and initially it'll accept it, and then we haven't had this problem, but. And then the membership rep will go in there and say, oh, okay, well, that's wrong. And then they'll have to go in and fix it. So there is some cross-checking going on. Same thing here with the medical. Upload it. Again, you can take a picture as long as it's in PDF. Pretty easy, and I like that tip.
And
Okay.
2018
How many people in here are on the CFI service
Team of
request?
the Year.
Cool. So you guys know what it is. Dave is pushing this at new member meetings.
You are
Anybody wants new business?
and
This is a great tool.
Players up there.
If you don't want new business, then
And Peyton Titt.
so what happens is the member will go into this form you'll see here in just a
To
second,
their teams.
and they'll fill out whatever they're looking to do, and it'll blast everybody on that list. And whoever responds first with a favorable answer will likely get the business. Has anyone had any success? I know there's at least one person in here. Okay, good. All right, so we know it's working. So if you want to get on this list in any of the emails that I send to you guys, any of the instructor updates, because everybody reads them, I'm sure, there's a button there that says Update Profile. If you press that, there's a whole laundry list of stuff. You select this option that says Receive Instructor Service Requests. If you do that, I'll get you added to the list. Done. So when that happens, the member fills this stuff out. Again, they're logged in. All of their information is populated, whether they get a text or not. And you'll see what that looks like here in a second. The information they fill out. So this is all the stuff, and they can put in whatever comments they want. So when they do that and they submit it, this is what you guys get. So this is what you're going to get. You get the person's email, whether they want to text, where they want to train, et cetera, et cetera.
I had 20 people at the last Montgomery new member brief 2 weeks ago. And I pushed the system to them. So if you're on the list, there were a good 6 or 7 people looking for instructors.
Yeah, and this is, they're pushing this on Facebook a lot as well. So if you guys want business, this is a great way. Now,
Say what plane they want to use.
They do.
yeah,
Not all.
well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Because there's an other section. Most of the time they can, right? It's right there. But if they don't, they can select other. That being said, Bruce Elig wanted me to make a plug that he has way too much business, and if you want any, let him know. There you go. He's got extra. So, Christmas. Okay, aircraft checkouts. This is the big one for you guys especially, because you guys are the ones doing this. Anytime you're doing anything to do with aircraft checkouts, this is for a couple of reasons. Number one, we get all this information when you submit it. Number two, if you want a record of any training, this is really important, like if there's an accident or an incident and you guys aren't keeping the records, we can go back. You just let me know whatever you want, whatever information you want. This stuff is all logged in the database. We can go back and get all this information. So this is kind of a CYA. The picture of the screen that people have access to. Okay, whatever. It's already on there. Anyway. Okay, so all of this stuff is what you're going to use the aircraft checkout form. Now, we've made a bunch of changes to it, and I'm happy to make, if you guys find that there's other ways to make it more efficient, happy to do it. These two things are key. The member name, the member email. Most people have not been putting the member email in there. That is now a required field. The reason being is that if you say that this is a flight review for somebody, the only way it ties into that person's record and updates their record is by their email address. So get their schedule master email, type it in there. So these two fields you have to type in. I'm trying to make this to where you guys don't have to type in a whole lot of stuff. The date of the check, the Hobbs time, so this is required, type of the checkout. Now, okay. One of the issues that we've had in the past was that not all the airplanes were in there. That has now been fixed, so it's now by tail number of all the airplanes in the club. So select which airplane you're doing the checkout in. It's by N number, so in ascending order. If it was in a +1 airplane. So remember, you don't technically have to do a flight review in a +1 airplane. If you do it in the member's personal airplane or whatever, and you want to fill this out, then because they're a member. So like Jim has a plane that's not in the club, and Jim needs a flight review, and you can do that in a non-+1 airplane. Okay, you just say no, and then when you say no, you just enter the information. Okay, this will not be here if you have yes. This box drop down here, it's got all the tail numbers of all of our airplanes. Select it. There you go.
They're going to break down the grub, so if anybody wants anything or has got their hankering for a cookie, go grab it now before they start breaking it down.
Frank, get out there.
Yeah, you guys better go now. Sodas and everything.
Rand, did you have a question, Rand?
Yeah, several flights, similar, accumulated on the Hobbs hour.
Yep.
said we used two different sets.
Yep. I figured that would come up. Just the last one you used. That's fine because it depicts the type. That's really all I care about. And then most of the other ones, like 210 or whatever, just well, actually, Cirrus, for instance. If you do it in multiple Cirrus, just the last one you did it in.
It's
But you want all of the hops time, like if they did it over several seconds.
Yeah, and here's the reason why. Now, yes, I want that. It covers you because if I see a flight review that has 0.8, then we've got a problem, right? So.
But it's a checkout.
Well, depends on what it is. I'm saying if you do a flight review, like if you have a flight review, because this can be a new member checkout, it can be an aircraft checkout, it can be a flight review. It can be any of that. Yeah, it could be any of those.
One thing that guys pay attention to is make sure you put down the airplane you fly, because we put that on the member who you fly with Schedule Master account for their checkouts. So anytime you guys touch a member with regards to checkouts, like in this case with Tango Bravo, 172 is going to get put into their profile in Schedule Master. So now we know people are staying current, what airplanes they're flying, and we can track this, because you're going to see at the end of the meeting why we're going to really start tracking this harder. So always make sure that you, even if you do a checkout that's not in a club airplane, so you're doing a flight review with a guy who owns his own Bonanza, you want to make sure you put that stuff in there, because if not, we have no way of tracking it. Remember, it says I can't book the Bonanza, there might be a reason why. So this is stuff, but we're jumping ahead a little bit, but it's really important that you guys get that information in there so that Talisha and Erica can put that stuff on their profile.
Okay, I'm confused. You said the checkout is in a private airplane. We can't do that. The checkout has to be in a club.
Well, okay, flight review. If you fly a guy,
Flight review we
flight
can.
review's
Right.
fine. Just whatever you fly with. If you're doing a flight review in a Bonanza with a guy, that's why I used the wrong term, so good catch. So just make sure that you put down the plane itself so we can mark it off. Like we get guys that'll fly the Great Lakes, for instance, but I just have 172s down. We don't know that he got checked out in the lakes. Next thing you know, I see him checked out. He falls. He's flying your plane. Oh, yeah, we already checked him out. So we're starting to actually clamp down on this a lot more.
Okay. And if we do flight review and checkout at the same time, you only fill out the checkout form, not the flight review form.
You'll see the flight review at the very end. It's just a second here. Yeah. Any flight you do can be turned into a flight review. So that's totally up to you. Okay. Rich, did you have a question?
Yeah, if you get a guy that's an experienced new member, it's got tons of PA 28 time. He hasn't got much in the 172. You fly him in the 172 and check him out. Can you sign him off in a PA 28 also?
Yes and no. If he's got a checkout from somewhere else,
That's what I'm talking about. That old rule.
yeah. If you feel, if he's got a checkout from somewhere, if it was 10 years ago, yeah, well, it's your butt on the line, technically. But yeah, you can sign him off and say he's good.
Well, that's it.
I'm pretty tough on that, but
Just kick him over
the
the
example I'm thinking of, the guy was super sharp, and everything was current, recent. So I could fly with him only in a 172 and also sign him off for a PA 28. Up to me.
You're not signing them off. We always run into this. Okay. I had a guy, the new member brief, and we go through this all the time. Like I said before, it's
Right,
not
right
so much as we're concerned about the aircraft anymore, it's what's inside it. Okay? So, you got a guy that's flying over, let's say, Learn to Fly. He's flying the PA-28s, or he's over at Golden State. Whatever. He's flying the PA-28, joins the club. He wants to fly in the 172s, but he also wants to fly in the PA-28s. He's current. Everything seems to be fine. Yeah, he's fine to fly the PA-20. It's down lower, that's okay. Going up is another story. The key is the avionics. That's the question to ask. Kid goes, well, I fly nothing but, Piper's over at, ABC's flight school. Okay, great. So you go over and you fly with him in the 172, and let's just say for talking purposes, you show him a 650 in a 172. And he goes, whoa. Okay, there it is. You open up any airplane and they say, whoa, that's it. You're getting a checkout.
Can you do ground only checkout, or you want to fly?
That's fine. I just want you to just touch it. As long as he goes out and gets lost, and then Shane or I get a phone call from SoCal saying, hey, whoever this knucklehead was who didn't know how to take a command, who's sitting there playing with his computer, couldn't turn left or right to save his life, who flew with him? Then we go into Schedule Master and we go, oh, there you are. Here you go. Yeah. Talk to Rich. So, and then that's what we call kicking the can. So
not my dog. That's the key. I don't care. Like I said, I tell new members, the difference between our planes is some have wings up here, some have wings down here, some have one engine, some have two. But it's the avionics now, folks. That's really what it is. I mean, for instance, Dave's got an autopilot in his 172, and I don't know how to use the damn thing. Doesn't mean you can't fly it, but at the same time, it's like, I should probably get it looked at and at least be familiar with it in case I need to use it. I know, I'm still figuring it out. I won't go near it now, I'm scared. So that's the key, guys, okay? Use your best judgment. Nobody's going to question it. Nobody's going to go off on it. But use your judgment on this. If you see some kid who can barely hold a 172 level, chances are it's going to carry over to the Pipers. Okay? Use your best judgment. Flying is not cheap. And I always like guys that want to do a checkup. Well, I just want to make this as cheap as possible. You just guarantee 2 hours with me. Guaranteed. Because you're going to try to be perfect on the first flight. The second flight, I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
So, anyways, does that make sense? Use your judgment. But if I got a guy that does a flight in 172, and he goes, yeah, he's good in the 210. I saw you at 210 time about 10 years ago. That's fine. Yeah, he said he flew a Bonanza, so I guess that's fine too. And oh, what the hell, I'll give him a Duchess. That's another story. Okay? Any questions? All right.
Yeah, you're saying sign him off for a PA-28 when you checked him out in a 170. You don't have to sign him off.
You're not signing. I didn't say sign him off. I said he's okay to fly.
Anything.
Anything that he's already signed, that he's already proven currency in.
Okay.
All right. So if I have flown a 150 in 10 years, you better not be in a 150, unless he's familiar and at least does a ground check. Hey, walk around the airplane. Remember a few things. Look at the stupid book. I know reading's overrated. I'm one of those that agrees. You know, open up the book, refresh your numbers. I'm not saying you have to go up and do 4 or 5 hours with it, but at least know that he knows what he's doing because, again, Shane gets the calls and said, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, we'll talk to him. So that's the key. But you're not signing them off. You're not saying, okay, yeah, we did our flight check in 188.72, so now I'm signing you off for this and this and that. No. That's his logbook. Now he's responsible for himself or herself. And then they can deal with us on the one-on-one or something else. But it's pretty real scary. Okay.
So there's a, at the very end of the form, there's a section for your comments. So you guys put whatever you want in there. Hey, this guy shouldn't be flying this, that, whatever. Whatever you want to put in there to cover your ass, put it in there. All right? You don't have to put anything in there if you don't want, but put stuff in there. It helps. There's 3 times that I will take this data and use it. One will be probably twice a year that I'll go through and download all this data. I'll scrub all the names, and I'll just and I actually have stats, initial stats of stuff, which is I'll share with you guys, and it's pretty interesting on what's done and how long average checkout times, which right now is 1.6. That was for a 3-month period or something like that. So I'll do that. If we get a problem with FAA, then we'll pull up a record and we'll send that over or call you guys. Or if we have a problem with a member, then we'll go in here and pull this data. So this is mostly to protect you guys. It's also to protect the club. That's my number 1 goal here. Number 2 goal is to protect you guys. So help me, help you. If you don't want to help yourself, then nothing I can do about it. There's only, what do we got here? 7 items here that you need to make sure that you go through every single checkout with somebody. And you can see none of these things involve flying. Okay? Now, I'm not saying don't go fly with them. I'm just saying these are the things, and these will probably change every year, that we consistently have problems with. I mean, daily almost. Systems, right? I've had guys that have tons of time, lots and lots and thousands of hours that it's grim, but I'm waiting for that call. That 210 is going to be crashed at the end of the runway because someone tried to go around and they were on the tank that had no gas in it. Twice in the last 2 months that's happened. Twice. Someone's going to die. So if they don't, I mean, what can you do? You know, it's a second issue I had. 2 gallons in the right tank of the 210, and that's the tank that was selected. So you have to select those when you do the flight check or when you do the checkout. You don't have to, there's nothing else that you have to check out on that person, right? This is it. But you have to make sure that you check those and you're saying that you've gone through that. Now, if you do other stuff, say yes, are there other checkout items? And then whatever else you did, you can just select those items. But you don't have to. If it's defaulted to no. If you say yes, you get tons of stuff. And you can say this is what I did. Totally up to you.
And there's no club says mandate.
Yeah, none of that stuff, and some of that stuff is flying stuff. So if you guys say it's good, then we don't even look at this stuff. Unless we're scrubbing data or unless there's a problem. So member information, right now it's certificate number, medical. So I'm on the fence on whether or not I'm going to take those out. I'm not entirely sure yet. Most people don't put them in anyway. So this is just kind of like a check and balance for what the information we have. If you guys have comments, send them to me later. You don't need to go through them now. This stuff, again, is pre-populated. Ultimately, hopefully I'll get your CFI certificate populated in here, but for now you'll have to put it in there. Okay, flight review. Defaulted to no. So if you submit the form as is, it is not a flight review. The person will not get flight review credit. And if you told them that they were going to get flight review credit, they're going to be calling us and saying, why don't I have a current flight review? So if you did a flight review, you have to say yes. So two things. Well, one thing that you have to do really. Okay, call it two. So you have to put the date that you did the flight review. Maybe you signed them off the flight before and you wanted to fly with them again. I don't know, whatever. But the flight review date, again, it'll automatically calculate 1 year after, because that's the club rules. And just like everything else, upload a PDF. Okay. This is what has to be in there. That endorsement, that 6156 has to be in there. Yes. Wings is a 6156. It's a PDF version. They just print it out and upload it in there. It's the second page of the Wings. It's a little wallet card. It has the endorsement on there. Absolutely. Yep.
And that's their own thing off of this.
So if they do that, then they can just upload it. They don't have to go through all this. They just go through that first form that you saw for flight review updates.
So hold on a second. Can you just check them out without the flight review?
Yes.
And then as a pilot, they go and upload the
Sure.
flight review from
Yep.
Wings.
Absolutely.
They can do that.
Yep. No problem.
What's your preference?
I don't care.
Whatever you want.
Some people prefer not to do flight reviews and actually endorse them for liability reasons. I think it could go both ways if you get a good lawyer. So some people just send them to Wings and that's, have the FAA issue the flight review. But I think either way, you're the one that's flying with them and signing them off on the flight portions of the Wings. So we don't care. I honestly don't really care. That answer your question? You look like you have another question. No? Okay.
I have a request to go over squads too.
Okay.
What do you want to go through this?
You want?
Or you just want to do it now since we talked about everything else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you do Schedule Master on there?
Yeah.
We put a squad thing up there so we go through it.
Okay, let's finish this then.
Finish this up
Yeah,
and
okay.
go on.
All right, so the big issue that we had, this is the third, I think. So we're up to about $200,000 in the less than, battery died. $200,000 in less than a year for our gear up incidents. At some point in time, just like light sports, these things are either going to go away or they're going to be like severely limited. I don't even know what the answer is. This one is interesting, really interesting. San Jose at dusk was fairly busy. I think he flew overhead into a downwind pattern. That's the information. 1 month prior, not that far since the last checkout or last flight with an instructor. Swears up and down. The gear was down and locked and 3 green when he landed, and the gear collapsed allegedly when he landed and got to about 30 knots. Okay, that is what was filled out in our form. That is what was provided to the NTSB, who considered this, they classified it an accident, and they're now doing the investigation.
Got you fixed.
Thanks. So, kind of a big deal. We can't touch the plane. We nothing. So this plane, we're completely out of the loop. Yeah, so the pilot, now the FAA, as of today, the FAA sent him his Bill of Rights, and they're going to talk to him.
I heard it was mechanical.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So, yeah, I kind of screwed up. So all the information that we had initially was that it was mechanical. And then as we started getting more into it, you know, like right as I sent that email out, the whole thing just went belly up. And now there's a yeah, exactly. There's a chance that gear was never down. That's a Comanche Palomar. Yeah, here. This is what it looks like now. Yeah, was a great airplane. It's got the Q-tip props and all that good stuff. So, those things, they went way back.
Which runway?
The right, yeah. Yeah. No, what's the, is it shorter? Yeah, because the airlines were fine. No, it was right because they were landing on the left and Southwest was holding short when this happened. May 30th. Yeah. So I still don't think we've received pictures of the inside and whether or not the gear. The first question that Dave and I both asked is somebody send us a damn picture of the inside and whether or not the gear was down. But we can't get those pictures. They're withholding them. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's there might be some validity to that. I tried to look, like zoom in, and I can't see it. Total, gone. That's it. It's done. Completely total. So that's the second one. The second total in like 2 months. All right, 28 RJ and this one, gone. Nope. No, once it gets to a certain percentage of the value, they'll just total it. They don't. It's like 60% or something, isn't it?
No.
Or is it less?
They break it down in a total for something like this, guys. It's not like cars. Basically, what AIG does in this situation is look at the aircraft itself as a hull value of what the salvage would be. Sometimes when owners put avionics in, they'll bump it up 20, 30 grand. So Pat had this for 70,000 because it didn't have any instrumentation. It just had a nice paint job. But so in this situation, the gear up, the damage came in at $62,000. That's game over. If this plane if the damage would have been down closer to about 45 to 50, we probably could have got it fixed because as it sits here, the hull's probably worth 20 grand. The engine was a mid-time engine, so they can sell it. They can part it out and get it back. So they can get that residual back. But in this situation, to fix it, forget it. They took it out back and shot it. And that's it. So it's going to stay in San Jose, and then whoever comes and buys it, it'll go goes to Scottsdale. And
Are there any aircraft owners here?
And it'll go overseas and it'll be flying again.
But if aircraft owners make a mistake sometimes. They say, you get to set your own hull value. If you set your hull value too low, you're risking that they're gonna total your airplane rather than fix it because they don't. It can be, as you said, 60% of the cost of the hull value is the cost of repair. They can make that money back by parking it out.
How much money do you get for this car?
Well, whatever he had insured for, he gets a check for that amount.
minus the deductible.
Yeah, minus it's $2,500.
This is the one thing that I stress about this kind of stuff. We got, for instance, 28RJ did it February 3rd.
Want to talk about gear up?
It was a total. Yeah, let's get into it.
It's your deal.
All right, so let's get into the gear up stuff. The biggest issue I have here, and this is stuff I've been dealing with as well, and Shane, I've had numerous debates on this as well. Now, we'll open this up to discussion in a minute. The big issue I have with something like this is they don't make Comanches anymore. So when one of these things gets wrecked, I mean, anything. The Duchess out there in Julia, this plane, 28RJ gears up. Once they're gone, they're gone. And that's one less in the fleet with us in the U.S. One less airplane that's out there. And if you look at the overall age of the fleets in the U.S., and just take ours per average, I bet you the average age is 40. And so, it could be. So, I mean, that's the one thing with working these airplanes. People ride them hard, they beat them up, you knock them in the next week, it's like, you know how old this thing is that you're doing this to? You know, I mean, yeah, you can do some things with them, but, you know, they take some beatings. But yet, you know, they're 50 years old. And if we lose one, I can't go down and say, hey, Pat, go buy another Comanche. Doesn't happen, okay? Duchess, right now, I've got people looking to buy it, try to get another Duchess for the club. There's 4 in the U.S. for sale today. Okay, 4. They only built like 460, and the last one rolled off the line, I want to say 1985.
One of those 4 has to have an annual 2 years.
That's okay. That's what we're dealing with. So, you know, when we're doing training in these things, especially with the RGs, this is where we're getting into now. We really need to be conscious of, you know, what we're doing with these things and how we're treating them. This is the 3rd gear up in a row in 6 months in the club. Okay? This is bringing the attention to what we had in the Duchesses about, 10 years ago, where we kept getting prop strike after prop strike after prop strike. Bob and I worked on that one. And we finally came to the conclusion because insurance says, we're not going to insure your twins. We're done. Because we had, I want to say 3 or 4 prop strikes in a row inside of a year. So what we ended up doing was, okay, we're going to put currency limits on these aircraft. So we put a 6-month currency limit on the twins. The prop strikes went away. The last prop strike we had in the Duchess was in 03 Echo. It was about 4 years ago. It was an ATP check ride with a DVE on board. I won't give you the names.
Okay. How are you getting the prop strike?
What?
How are you getting the prop strike?
We get prop strikes all the time.
How? What are they doing wrong?
They're going to quit flying the airplane for whatever reason. I don't know.
It comes up like
It's
this.
a hard landing. If you
We bounced it. I mean, we've
Bounce
had
it,
guys,
it comes up
you
like
name
that.
it, I've had them do it. They bounced it. I've had guys let go of the stick, and the tail downforce goes away. The prop goes in the ground. That's another big wing about gear up. I mean, there's your prop right there. I mean, technically, the guy that was flying the Debonair in, what was it, December of last year or October, when he was doing his commercial training.
No, that was like 3-4 months ago.
Was it 4 months ago? Okay. Yeah. He was doing touch and goes in the pad and cycling the gear every time, and then finally forgot about it. So, anyways, there may be some discussion about, hey, if you guys have fun as a complex in 6 months, you need to go out there and grab your favorite CFI and get current. I don't care if it's one loop in the pad. Touch the gear handle once and duck and down. Okay? Something along that line. I don't want to go that drastic because there's no reason to be that way. But if I got 3 gear ups in the last 3 months, and, or actually 4 months, and we're already, with our new insurance policy, 130 grand into it. Okay. We concluded we get one more hit, and we're looking at an increase. No way around it. We're going to look at an increase, which is going to make the rates higher for the aircraft. So this is where we always talk about flight instructors being the front line of defense. Okay. This is a great way for you guys to make a few extra bucks. If we start making currency requirements on complex, here you go. Now, in a lot of retrospects, too, with the FAA removal of using a complex aircraft for the commercial stuff now, and the CFIs, where we used to have, this might take some of the stress off of this, the stuff going on. Because the Debonair was a commercial pilot getting ready for his check ride. The other two, this was a cross-country pilot. I don't know what this one's all about. The 173G, we talked about earlier, we're still processing that, and we still go to counseling to process our feelings with that one. We tear apart dolls. Anyhow, one of the things that we're talking about with gear and gear functions and training it, I do this all the time, and I do it with my students, and one of the things I think happened in this situation, if he did not have the gear down, which that's our belief, that's all I'm saying, is tax saturation. When we listened to the ATC tapes, when Shane pulled them up, it was busy. It was very busy. Lots of jets coming in and out, a lot of communication going. He came in VFR, they were integrating them in, they were setting them up, But he had jet traffic he was integrating in with, and they had to keep the speed up. They were bringing him in quick. And it could have been easy that he was so focused on flying the airplane and looking out for 737s and Southwest and Alaskas and all those others, he easily forgot that. You can speed up, you know, I mean, it could be anything. But the point is that my personal belief is that there's a lot of situations where pilots are getting task saturated and they're forgetting stuff because they're so focused on the goal that they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. I believe that was the same thing that happened with the Debonair when they forgot to put the gear down. It was a busy day. He was out there doing pattern work, and the plane at the airport should have been doing pattern work to begin with. They're let on cycling that gear. And yet, he did like was his fourth or fifth landing when he finally realized, and, you know, he's lucky he didn't end up on the ground, although he probably should have with the damage that would occur. So that's the thing that's going on. One thing I do with my students, when I do any type of training, especially complex, I always do the infamous piece of candy on short final. I always do something to distract them. I start talking, asking some stupid story. I start distracting, saying things. For one reason, hey David, you shut up. That's the thing, okay? They need to learn how to fly the airplane, be part of the airplane, and understand where they're, you know, what's going on. And hey, just because your flight instructor is next to you talking and asking questions, shut them up. Hey, I'm trying to land this thing. Can you? Oh yeah, sorry about that. No problem. Good, you just passed your check. Yes, Gary.
I had a student quite a ways back who used to own one of these, and he landed intentionally gear up twice because the gear wouldn't come down. When we got this airplane, I told the people that wanted to get checked out, and I said, sorry. And I told them about my student, I'm not flying it. You want to fly it, go get somebody, take the risk, enjoy the ride. I'm not going.
That's your choice. I mean, I've got a couple hundred hours of Comanches. The gear motors can be a little wonky, but you can still have a handle that puts it down and heads it down just fine. That's the only thing I had. And I had a gear motor burn up once, but the override works just fine. You pop the rear gear off with the gear from the motor, and it pushes it down. Put a steep turn, and boom. Once it's down, that gear's down. It is not coming up. Those bungee cords throw it down. Okay. So, you know, it's your preference. I don't tell CFI where they want to fly. They can fly whatever they want. I got guys who want to fly 172. I'm fine with that. I don't care.
Hey, Dave, doesn't that thing have something that when you pull the throttle back, you get a horn or something?
Should have a horn on of it. If you pull the throttle back, I think below 15 inches or, I think it's just the manifold gauge because these have mechanical flaps. You got a Johnson flat that you pull on. So there's nothing.
There is a warning.
But there's a warning. One of the things, if you guys with Pipers that train in arrows, you guys can do this trick, I hope you guys do, is if you turn the rheostat on, the night lights on, it dims the landing lights. You can't see them. And your gear down, your green lights go very dim, so it doesn't look like, especially daytime, you can't see the green lights. I had one pilot I was checking out years ago. He was circling brownfield for 30 minutes because he kept looking at me, and I looked back at him and shrugged my shoulders. Next to the rheostat, the owner put in punch tape, this shows you how long it was. Gear down lights not visible at day when lights are on. Right there. We circled brown for 30 minutes. Task saturation. Then I ended up pointing. Maybe that might have something to do with it. Click, pink. I think we can land now. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to try to create that environment so that they can deal with this. Because I'll tell you something, there's nothing worse, if I haven't experienced it personally, than walking on the runway looking down on your airplane. It should be at eye level. So, I mean, this is one of the things we're thinking of. And this is something that we share with all you guys. If you guys have experiences or ideas, you know, this is the feedback. That's why we have these meetings, okay? Because if you guys have something good, we can share with everybody else and we all win, and we don't have to deal with this. Okay? Because this stuff just, I hate to say it, this stuff shouldn't happen. Should not happen.
They did one time we were talking about the 172 RGs, not to, we were training somebody not to continually up and down with the gear because that's going to cause problems.
Yeah, you're right.
The same thing might happen.
That's absolutely possibly true. You know, when I, like for instance, in the 210, I do training with the 210, whether you go to Ramona or Brown. You depart out of Brown or Montgomery, gear goes up. We get to Brown, gear goes down. It stays down. We'll do our loops in the pattern. It stays down. We come home, the gear goes up, the gear goes back down. Every time in the pattern, though, you're saying gear up, gear down, and you're just patting nicely like a dog the handle, which is fine. If you look in the assessment books, it tells you it didn't even tell you to break the gear up on go-arounds. It says nothing about the gear. It only says flaps. Leave it down. Don't break it. And that way you're sure to land on your wheels. Come home, bring the gear up, bring the gear down. There are situations where you do need to cycle gear a few times, and that's fine. But I watched a 1872 RG out of Brown Field do about 10, 11 touch and goes, and gear came down at the end every single time. And what is the common weak point in the 172 RG, guys? The gear actuators. Every time you do one more, that's one more it gets closer. Rich and I know about that.
Yeah, well, on the other hand, you want to train a student to think about putting the gear down
Exactly.
every single landing, so you cannot
Touch him. Touch him.
Hey,
Gear up. Did feel down. Gear down.
You should always do a last minute short plunge.
Yeah, there's my light. Yeah, and then you're up in the air. Reach over there. Turn the cat's eye down. Now it starts. Put the gear down. Gear down. Open up his cat's eye. If he doesn't say it, leave the cat's eye closed. I mean, there's ways to do training and keep you and the airplane and your pilot safe. But yeah, here's Rich's little toy. He's selling them for you if you want. You can get, because he likes you guys, he'll give you 2 of these for the price of 3, and they're only $100 each.
I'll take 6.
All right, we got it.
You want to tell them what it is?
So anyways, this is Rich. He came up with this. I've had a few of these too in the past from other students, but basically, you stick it in any aircraft you want, and it's your gear switch. Of course, his is safe. You can't pull that. It's got a safety on it, so you can't put that gear up unless you move the safety. But basically, it's just a little battery pack with a switch. So you put the switch down, the green light comes on. So you stick it in any airplane, doesn't matter. Positive rate of climb, gear up, lights out. Fly your airplane. Go in and land it. Hey, there's no green light. Oh shoot, I gotta put the gear down. So it's a nice little training tool.
I use it for, even at 172, just to get that flow started. You know, comps check, last minute comps check, gear down before landing, check that flow. Gear down before landing,
Hey.
gear down before.
Hey, what you doing?
172, we generally go down and well, but that ain't good enough. And he'll do like Dave does too, you know, start talking and all that stuff, and they're all jazzed because they greased it on. I go,
Yeah, they greased it on all right.
green light ain't on, man, what's that mean?
The guy that geared up the 172 RG said in the board meeting, I kid you not, direct quote, one of the smoothest landings I've ever had.
short.
Yeah, full part of taxi. Oh, Shannon, my head just went. So, anyways, but that's a nice little tool. I mean, anything that you can guys teach these guys, you know, use a handle, look what you're playing with, pay attention to what's going on around you, saturate them, get them looking up, don't get them looking at the plane outside. Hey, you see this? You hear this? You hear what happened for dinner last night? Oh God! I mean, whatever. Get them distracted. Try to get them in a situation where they forget that, so they learn, so that they're not dealing with a bunch of firefighters in San Jose, cops and TSA, FAA, NTSB, and every other alphabet government entity. Give your life miserable.
I used to, whenever they were about to reach the gear switch, I'd point out traffic, and their hand would go down, and they could put the gear down, and then.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
I had them well trained, so they would go around when I told them to. So on short class, they go around, and I put the gear down, and I proved to them that they're vulnerable.
That's a good point. I mean, distract them when they're trying to do something. Hey, you look over here. That's a really good one. I'm going to remember that one. That's a good one. Another thing you bring up a good point is go-arounds. Do you know how many guys I fly with that are committed to landing?
All of them?
All of them. I've got a CFI I'm working with right now, and he's learning how to, I'm task saturating him in a lot of ways of teaching. At the same time, he's still trying to articulate his words on my landings. And I'm kind of playing the old Bull Durham trick on him where if you don't follow what the picture, if you're not following what the catcher tells you to do, all right, fine, throw whatever you want, and then he tells the batter what's coming. I do that with my guys. So I'll come in, he's teaching me, I just do exactly what he says, and it's like, all right, you're Jack, I go around, we're going to keep going around until you get this right. And Montgomery started getting a little testy with us. I didn't care. So we stayed around the left runway in a Dutchess, trying to land the airplane. Finally was able to talk me down, and we did okay. But now I've got them under stress. And you've got to get your students under that stress so that they can see what's going on afterwards and understand, here's my limit, here's what I've got, here's how I've got to fix it. Now you got somebody that you can work with. That's what I've got. So I'm open for anybody to say anything else. We're getting some great comments, but this is kind of where we're at. You could see a 6-month window on RGs. And depending on the 6-month window, it may not be just a one and done flight. It could be, hey, we want to see 3 hours every 6 months. We want to see something along that line to show some form of currency. And I mean, let me change that. Proficiency. Currency is one of these things where they're like, you know, hey, 3 takeoff and landing, I'm golden, let's go. You might be, but then again, we could have this. So, I don't know, we'll probably have more at the next meeting, but, you know, open to discussion. If anybody has some really good points, really just want to focus on the training, making sure that we're doing our job and we're doing everything, you know, the best we can. We can't control what happens afterwards, but I guarantee you, whoever flew with this guy, the NTSB is going to go through his records to see what he did. Not that it's the instructor's fault, but they're going to verify this guy was actually trained, what the CFI did, how it went through, and, you know, making sure that the pilot knew what he was doing. He didn't pull fools. I've had to do them.
At an airport like that, I'm willing to bet there's security camera footage that he might be looking at to see if he's telling the truth about when the gear was
I would think so. The super sleuth over here, I've had him doing his thing trying to find stuff, but we haven't had any luck yet.
Sorry.
If anything, it'd be in security cameras, but you'd have to get a court order to get those things.
Even a 4K Ultra HD camera at this distance, you won't be able to see the gear itself.
No, you wouldn't be able to see, but you know, somebody might see what the speed or something's doing. You know, regardless if you see it or not. As far as I'm concerned, and as a club management perspective, it's a total, Pat's getting a check, I'm paying, and we're going to cut him a check for the deductible. Shane's dealing with the pilot with regards to being a member of the club. My work here's done. It's just, it's frustrating for this because A, it's a nice airplane, and B, it didn't need to happen. It's like 28 RHA, 7 Delta uniform. 7 Delta uniform was hard because the owners got stuck with a lot of other outside issues that occurred with the aircraft when it was torn down. That was outside the club, outside insurance, and a lot of their frustrations came on to me because of it. And none I could do, so I became a counselor to them because they were mad at, you know what? I can't help you. They found this was on corrosion, it's fine, but now I got to put another 60 grand in the engine. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Any questions on this? I'm kind of passionate about this right now because this really hurts. This kind of hurts. Yeah, right?
Dave, I'm just wondering that the idea of making new currency things might be too simple a solution. And the reason I'm thinking it is that you're a guy who was in the training thing doing touch and goes, and he lost it on whatever number that he was doing. Well, at the time that he landed Europe, he was current, just done a bunch of them.
Oh, I know. That's the problem. The guy that was in the command chief, that's the only plane he flew in the club. And he had close to 14 hours in it.
So it's something else to
before the event. Right, that's what I'm saying. There's something in the training that's why I'm bringing it to you guys. That's why my idea that I'm saying is task saturation. Because both guys, the guy that was working the pattern at Montgomery was a busy Saturday. There was a lot of activity going on, and they were squeezing him in on touch and goes. Thank God for live ATC because he finds it. This guy going to San Jose, I see about it. The other guy in San Jose, same wing. If you listen to live ATC in the archives, it was busy. It was late afternoon, kind of early dusk. It's getting dark. Vision's starting to change. Airliners are coming in on the late evening rotations. Hey, keep your speed up. You're going to be between 2 737s. I've had that numerous times with John Wayne. Next thing, he's going so fast, he forgets it. So that's my belief. Like I said, and it's task saturation. That's my belief. That's how I've been starting to change my training in these type of aircraft. Get them flustered. What are you about?
I've seen some very long checklists, I think, and I'm wondering if that might have a little effect on it.
Won't argue that either. I know some are checklists versus to-do lists.
But I don't care whether it's a checklist or a to-do list, but if it's 25 items and years buried in there.
Yeah, I agree. I just do a simple pull, down, gear, green, done. So, but I agree. See, these are all good points that come out. All right, and that's really, that's where I'm leaving it now. Stuff you guys can ponder. Feel free to send me emails or talk about it. You know, if you see me sitting in the office and want to discuss a point, please do. This is, we all learn from each other. Everybody benefits, everybody wins. I did get a request. Any questions on this? Because I got another request online about squawks. We'll go over those again, which are the bane of my existence. Are we able to put something up or not? That's what I say. Squawk it all. I always put down on owners. I always say airplanes out of trim and land's hard.
From the left seat.
Can you put Sketch Master up real quick?
Yep, hang on.
All right, so Shane's trying to pull up Squawk list. Squawks are the bane of my existence. All right, they really are. And again, getting into them, I'll be honest, you guys, this is for your information and for what you want to do with it. The club does not ground aircraft. We don't. This is something between you, your favorite aircraft, and your favorite owner. Okay. Dave's not here to comment on it, but I'm sure he will in a moment. So if we go through some of the gripes that we have, now do you guys know how to get to the main gripe, the squawk sheets, and how to find them all now? You guys familiar how to get there? You go up
You
and
do your post flight, right?
well, no, it'll show up on your pre-flight and your post-flight for your aircraft if there's anything on there. But if you want to see a list of squawks, you go into the resource info, then come over to maintenance and hit squawks. Then the important thing you need to do is after you do it, Shane, go back to the beginning. I want to make sure you can see it. So go down to the resource. There you go, squawks.
It lags. Hang on a second.
All right. View summary. That's the thing you guys got to look for right here. Okay. Click on that. You get them all. View summary. Okay. So this is the thing, guys, where is this a gripe or is it not? 4420 Romeo, sticky HI knob.
Sticky what?
Exactly. Go ahead and click on it. Yeah, these are all written, as far as I believe, in the best intentions. They're trying to help. I get that. It's kind of like kids when they break something when they're little. They're trying to help. Okay, so we burn the mac and cheese. That's fine. Very difficult to engage and sometimes sticks. Is this a gripe? Yeah, it is. She griped it, so the plane's grounded. Now, you guys have the ability, go back to that real quick, because this is something that's important. But they also had, I think they finally deleted the one that said ADF in off, which was going to say, how'd you verify it? I did get KNX, damn it. I need my weather. Okay, so here you go. So, very difficult to engage, sometimes sticks. All right, well, AVFR, that's not a big deal. You get in the airplane, I've had CFIs in a situation, pilots, bless you. Pilots do stuff like this. Okay, they get in here. You guys have the new comment box. Remember, 91405 says the gripe needs to be addressed. It doesn't say it has to be signed, it has to be addressed. That's not a safety flight issue. You can write in there. Works fine. Had no problems. Could not duplicate it. Save it. You're golden.
Do we have to select a close squawk case there? There's a small box that says close squawk.
You can't close it.
We cannot do that.
No, you can't. The shops close them. Shops close them, or the owner can close them.
What's a
A lot of
tachometer?
times what owners will do is once they're fixed, they'll delete them.
What's a tachometer?
A taco meter. There's another one, guys. How about a taco meter? Charlie Alpha has a taco meter. All right, I'm in on this one. Let's go. Let's go. Now remember, guys, this is a valuable lesson. We read these things. TAC did not change their entire flight. Is that a honorable gripe? No.
We'll go away on Tuesday.
Exactly.
What should we have done?
Call Pat.
Call the owner.
Call the owner. Walk into Pat. Hey, Pat, I noticed that the TAC didn't move when I was TAC hours weren't moving. I mean, in all truth, the only thing that hurts Pat because with any type of AEDs. But Piper's, the only AEDs I know that Piper's have, other than the ignition switch, if it has an ACS switch in it, is the prop strike AED. That's one thing that Piper's are really nice. Their AEDs are very few.
There's nothing wrong with squawk in that.
Yeah.
It's just check your spelling. I mean, seriously, that's a valid squawk.
Happen is, if, see, if it had been like Shane and I did this, that'd be our new call sign. Hey, Taco. That'd been it. So, some stuff like here. This is another good one. Fly for Quebec. Okay, this is another pad airplane. Missing screws. Instead of writing this whole big dialogue, you walk to the hangar and go, "Big pad, you got a screw missing over here." You'll be like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, go fix it.
I think what happens a lot of times is you tell owners, hey, this is messed up, and you go, you know what? I'm putting it on paper.
That's fine too. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I got guys who want to gripe it. Go ahead. Gripe all you want. The key is that there are some things that for sure are grounding items. Okay? Hey, I had a bad, 300 RPM drop, attempted to clear, had no choice. But then the main thing that I'd like to see in this situation too, where just pick any one of these things. Pick taco meter again. God, this is so much fun. I can't. Taco meter. I love that's a good one. Yeah. Easily enough. Squawk details. Tag time not change their return in flight. Notify Pat. Okay, done. Go fly. Check in with Pat and go. You can see the owners can't delete them. So I've had some owners get rather upset at some of these taco meter gripes. And they go in there and get rid of them. Okay. So if you have a gripe, and the nice thing about the system, go to schedule for me real quick. And this is what I've been talking to the new members about coming in. And I'm stressing it with you guys as well. I'll put it in my memory. That before you guys go fly, and this is where your students, I don't know, did he give it to you? No, he didn't. Have your students start looking at their gripes before they even come out to fly, and you guys talk about it, okay? Because there's no such thing as low, medium, high. Now, you guys were talking earlier about your post-flight or pre-flight dispatch. That information will actually be on that PDF that you guys print, okay? If you choose to print it. I never do. But if you choose to print this, you will see that gripe show up, okay?
What's the medium name?
Doesn't mean anything. The Schedule Master just kind of pulled this out of their backside, and when they put it together, I got you. They just kind of, here it is. In the eyes of the FAA, a gripe is a gripe. 91405, any discrepancy, okay, out of trim, lands hard, that's a squawk, has to be taken care of. The big thing is that as far as the feds are concerned, they want maintenance to touch it, okay? So if maintenance comes out, puts their hand on the airplane and goes, last pilot was a moron because it doesn't know what a taco meter is. That's it. We're done. Let's go fly. So that's the key. Again, it's the communication. That's what we need to work on. Versus, get another airplane. Reach out to your owner. I know. Sometimes the owner will receive an email, but he may not or she may not have read it recently or something and may not have caught it. Because everybody gets an email. I get one. Shane, you get them too, right? Shane gets them, the owner gets them, and the shop gets them. Okay, so when you guys hit the send button, minimum 4 people are going to get that right.
So you don't need to make a phone call then?
Yeah.
I strongly recommend making that phone call because remember, you got to be in front of your computer. And I know a lot of mechanics that don't have smart ones like this.
Okay, still.
Yeah, still do it to cover your face.
When I get one of these, it's really hard to ask the email a question. So that's why I like, personally, I can't speak for all owners, but I like to take the phone call. If it's at 11 o'clock at night, you can wait till the next day to call me. But
Where am I going?
I really like to get the feedback, and then we can do a two-way conversation.
One other thing to go on with reporting the gripes, since we're here. Facebook is not an area to instant message somebody a squawk. Please don't do that. We've had some owners get instant messaging from the Facebook page. Plane sucks, out of trim, lands hard. So don't do it. Do it in the media that we have. Have your students go look through the plane, see what they've got. You guys look, so there's no surprises. And then make a dissemination of what it is or not. I had a guy come and goes, hey, I got the plane book, but it looks like it's down, it's got a squawk for annuals are going to be done. I said, well, go back to the day, click on it. Sure enough, there it is. Oh, it's down for annuals. Okay, thanks. Sometimes all the answers are there for you. Any questions on the squawks? It's your best judgment, guys. If you don't want to fly it, don't fly it. But at least follow through with the follow-up with the owner So that way, I mean, I've had some of that owners that just forgot to remove the squawk. And it's like, why isn't my plane flying? It's all of a sudden, 4-letter word, 4-letter word, 4-letter word, 4-letter word. Go to the computer, to the wall, remove the squawk. Question?
So for things that we know that would down the plane for IFR flight, but it's perfectly fine for VFR. If we call the owner, squawk it and such not. Or, somebody does that, it's now in the squawk system.
Mm-hmm.
We can go and say, hey, safe for VFR flight, and go on our merry way.
Work out landing light.
Yeah.
No regard to VFR. Yep. Good. That addresses the squawk.
Actually, can we follow that up with 91205 not required for our flight, according to notes with 40 races?
Sure. Yeah. That's fine.
But,
It's fine.
I've walked into more than one aircraft where you're like expecting the aircraft, all right, sweet, I'm gonna go do this IPC. And you get out to the aircraft and yeah, never mind, you can't take this aircraft because there's no mention of anything about the fact that, oh, by the way, you have no.
Yeah, and then that you bring the flip side of the coin too. I've got people who won't write anything up. So you bring in a good point. Okay, HSI's out, all right? We wrote anything about it. You go fire it up, vacuum pump pegged at 0. Oh, I didn't look at it. I don't care. So you don't know. So it's not a foolproof perfect system by any means. But it's a lot better than what we had in the past. It just opens up different avenues of confusion. But unfortunately, I run into that problem that you've had every now and again. It's a little more on the rare side. I think with the future coming in the G5s, have you guys played with the G5 yet? Oh, it's sweet. That's going to kill the vacuum pump. I guarantee it's going to kill the vacuum pump. Cockpit's going to solid state before you know it.
Hallelujah. I have 2 of them.
They're great. They're so cool. They really are cool.
G5s.
Go play with them. God, they're fun. They're easy to use. Okay.
I'll say a question.
Go.
Walk me through again if I see low, urgency low, 911 off, I don't want to take anything out, so how is the live resolve?
You just in that comment section I showed you on the squawk section, just write in there. Now regard to VFR. You can write anything you want there. You can write down. One guy wrote, "Guy stoned." Serious. I'm like, okay, that's gonna go away. I see your name goes with it too.
Did you edit that, Dave?
What's that?
Did you edit it from he's stoned to?
No, I just
Didn't understand how the system works?
I had enough drama on my plate. But somebody I get tired of, I'll leave it. Let them deal with the meetings. But no, I'm like, no, that's too much going on today. So, but yeah, no. But if it's one of you guys that I have fun with you, it's like, oh, you wrote that? Yeah, it's gonna stick. Like taco meter. Then I'll blast everybody and say, hey, give Rand a call. Ask him about his taco meter. That's how we educate. Okay. Questions on? I know we review this, and I know there's always going to be questions. And if you want to go one-on-one afterwards and have a little more finite questions, that's fine too. I'll be here for a little while. What was the next thing we were going to yak about?
I'll get it. It's the tracking.
Oh, you want to talk about that one?
Sure.
You want to deal with it, or you want to?
Yeah, sure. You'll take too long.
Big Brother's watching.
Okay, last thing we had is so we'll just kind of go through this. You guys, somebody's at the door. The last email that I sent about the low flying airplanes. Did you guys look at the links for the letters that we got? Anyone? Okay, so if you have not seen, there's 2 websites, and I'll put the links up at the end here. If you have not seen these websites, right now you can pretty much track everybody. Within the next 2 years, you'll absolutely be able to track everybody by tail number. So for instance, this guy at 3,000 feet, we can put his track on there and see exactly where he was, where he's gone, all that stuff. Altitudes, current altitudes, all that stuff.
And we can report them. Right there.
So this is general public right here. Everybody can access this, and this is a lot of times, this has made the news a few times, so that's why a lot of people can get it. It was put in place because of noise abatement for Lindbergh, and there's a couple systems that were put in place. Another company won the contract, and you'll see 2 of these links here in a second. But basically, you can go through, this is live. You can do it by time. So you can see, here's this guy right here. He goes up here, he does a bunch of stuff and comes back. You can follow along, altitudes, everything. Everything on your flight is in there. Okay? So when we get these issues about low-flying airplanes, there's not much I mean, if we go and look at this and say, yeah, okay, it's 50 feet above this guy's house, or, you know, right off the beach or whatever, or we get a picture of somebody's tail number, it's not good. By the time it comes to us, FAA has probably already been notified about it. Nothing we can do.
I don't see the tail number there.
No, so on some of these you won't. That's actually, yes. So it doesn't take much for us if we have time and date and say, okay, it was Torrey Pines at X, you know, it's process of elimination. It doesn't take very long. However, if the airplane is as ADS-B, you'll see everything about that airplane. And like I said, in 2 years, every airplane, you'll see everything about that airplane.
If it doesn't currently have ADS-B, it'll show up as a 1200 squad.
Yep, that's what this is here.
But
Yep.
the track goes back and it landed at Montgomery at X time.
Oh, there's 86 Echo right
If
there.
the FAA wants to know who it was, they go back and talk to the tower and they know exactly who it was.
Yeah, right.
One thing, guys, also, what they can do is they can backtrack, and instead, okay, this is a 1200. All they're going to do is look at the time of departure, and they're going to get the tower tapes. I've already had 2 investigations from that for a Class B violation.
There it is, 86 Echo right there. I'll put it up in just a second here.
If you move your mouse on the point of the trace there, you get what time it was at exactly.
Yeah, it'll tell you. Yeah, and you can follow through the whole flight. I mean, you can actually go back and if you've ever used Cloud Ahoy, this is kind of very sort of similar. You can go through. I hit it all. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but you guys can go play with these when you see the website. You can go yesterday, whatever. You can pull up by date, by time, anything you want.
So all I have to do is just turn the transmitter off.
Yes. You didn't hear that from me.
Right.
Yeah, there's 86 Echo right here. That's ATSB right there talking.
All right, so the websites are there. The first one is the first one's technically the official one of Lindbergh. That's the company that just won the contract from these second guys. You'll see the airport code for CRQ. That's the only one that works now. If you used it before, it used to be SAN. That doesn't work anymore, the /SAN. So these both work. So if you use these will work. This presentation will be online as well on the website all of the CFIs get. So if you don't get it here, you can get it there. So anyway, we get these low flying. The biggest issues that I will say is the people on the coast, especially over around Solana Beach. Okay, that's a big one. Blackington, they get pissed, and they've actually sent PIs to the office, and both of us have talked to them. Private investigators are looking for your information.
Yeah, we sent it back.
Yep, that has happened. Guajito Ranch, same thing, or Guajito Ranch. That is the dirt strip north of Ramona. As all of you know, that's Guajito Ranch. So
Don't go lower than 35, right? 35.
don't go lower than 500 feet above the ground. In that area. So it's completely subjective in terms of the congested versus non-congested. I mean, you guys might think it's non-congested, and the FAA might come back and say it's congested.
Or if you're over a structure. Or...
Yeah. There's so many. If you go below 500 feet, you're playing with fire. If somebody gets a picture of your tail number and they track it back to this, they send a request to the FAA, and they'll pull even better radar data. There's no way around it.
So if you're at 600 feet and somebody complains,
Yep.
they can go back to that and say, no, I was never below 500 and you're good?
Yep. So what I will say is the FAA has a lot of these, and I've talked to them about some of them, and I don't know, maybe 80, 90% of them are, you know what, you guys thought they were lower than they were. You guys will never hear about it. So the complainant will come in and say, hey, this guy was super low, and it'll go to the FAA, and the FAA will look at the radar and say, no, he wasn't.
But it opens up a file.
Yep.
Like, well, when we had that marine layer, we got a call from a resident that tracked me down.
Yeah.
With a flight and student from a plane out of member over entrepreneur.
Yeah. That was one of the letters that you guys saw in the email that I just sent to the instructors.
So were they really low or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the last month's AAC meeting, a couple of residents showed up at Montgomery's AAC meeting and were complaining about low-flying airplanes in the pattern. and well, you know, and this one lady swears, I can tell what altitude they are within 50 feet. But I did see about a week ago, there was a tail dragger. It was not one of the club planes flying around. He could have been higher than about 300 feet AGL. Pattern. And I called Tom Dre and said, can you call this guy and just educate him that he's, you know, risking getting, you know, banned from the airport itself? Because these people are armed, and they're, you know, I mean, and they're also, now they're hitting the lead fuel.
Well, look what they do with Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's just, you know, we want to try to, we don't want to
make it easier.
We don't want to poke them. Just
be respectful, be kind.
Yeah, by and large, for the most part, club does not have a whole lot of problems. So,
Let's keep it that way.
yeah, and that's why I bring this up, because we don't want to continue to have problems. I don't want to get calls saying, oh, yeah, here, you know, here, Mr. FAA inspector, it was this person with this instructor. I don't want to do that. Yeah, Bob.
I think you mentioned Blackington, but I remember when I was doing safety, that I got a couple of calls on there. People were like 2,000 feet over Blackington, or they got farm. I think it was a bad flying over, because they have residents around.
Yep.
And they have a volunteer for the FAA.
And they get on the radio and talk. No G in Blackington, by the way. Look it up.
Say again?
No G in Blackington. It's Blackington. I know, just threw your whole night off. All right. Any questions on any of that stuff? So these are the websites. You guys got all the information. No more gear up landings, right? Ever? Ever. Okay.
It's those who have and those who will.
There you go. Dave, you had a question.
Oh, yeah, let's make one quick announcement. For those of you who fly 2 Romeo Whiskey, 86 Echo, or 22 Delta, you know that I've got all the books for the flight manual supplements and the pilot's guides for all the extra stuff in there. Recently, I got them also all up on the Plus One website. If you go to the fleet airplanes, click on the airplane. If you want to download an electronic version of any of those documents, you're welcome to.
Fred.
A general question on that medium thing. The schedule master program.
Yep.
Are we not the largest client?
We are, yes.
We're the largest client, so we should have some input on it.
We do. But it's still, there's like one person that works there.
So actually, I emailed them bitching about that new.
That thing sucks.
The new one?
The new schedule. It sucks. Don't use it.
We exchanged many emails, every one of them saying too bad.
Yeah, there's a section in Schedule Master that they have a new schedule. It's a new type. Yeah, don't use it. All right. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Okay. How you doing?
I'm Delore. We talked about a month ago.
We did.
We'll email what have you. So, just wanted to come say hello.
Cool. Okay. Good deal. Glad you made it. No problem. All right. We'll talk soon. See you later. Yeah, hang on one second here.
Bob at Cox.net.
Let's see here. Yeah, no problem. Let me stop it. Oh, good. It's progress for sure.